What I'm doing here is putting a border around. I love borders around paintings, and what it tends to do is hold the viewer into it. I'm not going too dark. We'll probably overlay this a bit later on. This is just using a bit of brown, a bit of orange mixed in. And as I go through and up, I'm going to change that colour or put some more blue onto it really, as we go up and around this, through there, and down into the cliff here, through to there. What I want to do here is use a combination of brush with a damp rag. I'm quite keen on keeping the softness that we achieved in the watercolour, and I think this is the way it seems to be going. The green tops of the cliffs, rub that through a little bit. The bank sweeping down. I think that's all the green I'm going to put on just at the moment. And change colour to the main chalk part underneath. For this I'm going to use a combination of colour, very soft, of sort of beigey colour, bits of blue, if you're doing something like this and you're working and you're thinking of having a go, don't be put off by the scale that we've got here. And I'm working on a canvas, but MDF board, hardboard, anything like that. Scale it down, scale the brush down slightly. Don't be intimidated by it, and just have a go. I'm now using the orange we had previously with a bit of burnt sienna for the sandstone, keeping it quite loose here at the moment. And again, just keep taking bits off. We're just building up the colours and the overlays of colours to get the luminosity. This has dried a little bit here, so I can afford to actually go back fairly quickly onto it. I only used very thin paint, so we can actually get this back in quite quickly. The chalk layer painted up to the green. I quite like the idea of this just fading out here at the moment. Just fade it off and perhaps come back to something harsher here. Yeah, that could work actually. So and we need to do something about this down this end. Remember, we had the sort of lighthouse up here somewhere. Just a mark at this stage. We might just keep it as a mark. Let's just see how this goes. This tends to blend in a little bit to the chalk and the sandstone, so you can actually reproduce this in a way quite nicely. We're building up. Don't rush to get final marks on too soon, the final lights and highlights. It's a gradual build up with just a hint of change of colour here, just slightly more definite. And you can see the cliffs actually coming out of the whole thing. Although this is quite soft and sort of ethereal in fact, you can see the thing coming from it. And I quite like the idea of this, as I say, fading out here and perhaps being a little harsher over on this side. Just there. I quite like that. So what I'm going to do next, I think, is to mix up some colour, redo this and build back down to this. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. What I'm now doing is to just strengthen the sky colour, slightly lighter, but still keeping it quite thin paint. I've added a little bit of purpley colour into my blue here. I'm going to paint into this lighthouse position a little bit. I think, yeah, that will just emphasise that a little bit and drag it away. If you are able to have a go at using a large canvas or board, it does lead you to being quite a bit freer with your work. You don't feel so intimidated by the scowl and scaling down too much. But I think when you first start, just probably curtail it a little bit and then build up. Take the plunge, go out and buy a few decorator's brushes, raid the cupboard with your painting gun, just have a go really. The brush isn't important in this type of painting that could well be very important on your normal watercolours or oils. What I've done here, I'm looking at here, is taking just a harsher mark across that orange to depict a bit of sky formation, but also to offset the flat colours over here. I am rubbing this in, I am keeping this soft so the oranges still glow through. What I'm doing actually here is putting marks on in the form of line, form, colour, texture. Very important in abstract work. And what I'm actually doing really is drawing back in with a brush. You might say, why put the line there? Why don't you put it up there or down there or over there? And it's an instinctive thing, but what I'm trying to do is really define the edge of the cliff and soften out, but harsh, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft. And that reacts against each other. So harsh, soft. So I have put that line there rather than through there or up there. We've already got it there. That's hard. I think what we'll do next is reinstate some of the beach. I've mixed up the same yellow as before and a little bit more white into it. And I'm rubbing this in. I'm putting the colour on. I'm just going to rub this in slightly. What I don't want to do is to make it too thick paint. It would defeat the object of putting the oranges on for the warm glow. So I tend to put this on quite thinly and rub it in. Depends on, if you rub it straight away, it's going to push the colour into the canvas or board, but it's going to take a lot of it off and retain the warmth underneath. The longer you leave it, the more insistent that will be. Hard, soft, hard. Quite like that. I think what it does is emphasises the energy. At the moment, it's looking quite like a sort of a very windswept day at Old Hunstanton. And it does give me what I'm aiming for, which is energy into the work. Lots of work is done with this, you can see at this stage. Hard again, back to slightly lighter. I won't rub it off, therefore it will lay on the surface and won't blend so much with the background orange colour. I'm going back into this bit here, just a little bit again, and further layer of colour, slightly differently now, very delicately if you like done. Blend out this time with the brush, through. Ease the brush off, clean the brush. What I'm now going to do is put a little bit more green back into my cliff top with a little bit of brighter colour here. Hard, soft, hard. Greenery coming down, which we can afford actually, I think, here to change colour, the green slightly. We can actually emphasise this. I might take that off the canvas now. Kill off the edge. And I think that's a good enough stage that we're just going to let it dry a bit now before we look at pulling in and actually pulling the whole thing together